June 1st. God says open this now. Good news is coming with your name today is not just another day. This is a divine appointment. June 1st was written into the script of your life before time began, not as a coincidence, but as a confirmation. The message from the heavens is clear. Open this now. Good news is coming, with your name written on it. You've felt it in the silence. You've sensed something shifting in the invisible. And maybe you couldn't explain why, but deep within there was a knowing, a holy anticipation that something long awaited was drawing near. Let me be the voice that confirms what your spirit already knows. God has not forgotten you. The thing you thought was delayed wasn't denied. It was simply addressed to the version of you who is finally ready to believe. You see, heaven doesn't deliver to doubt. God doesn't mail miracles to fear. Your blessing was never lost in transit. It was waiting for you to realize you already owned it, that the envelope was never sealed against you. It was sealed for you, and now, today, you are being told to open it. This message is not about someday. This is not about hoping or wishing. This is about knowing, deeply, clearly, silently, powerfully, that what has your name on it is now being revealed in due time, and June 1st is the hour marked fulfilled. The outer world may still appear quiet, but don't let that fool you. The inner world is stirring with certainty. The package has arrived. It's already on your doorstep, and the only thing left to do is open it. So get ready, because what's coming is not random. It's personal, it's prophetic, and it's yours. Consciousness is the envelope. The message is already addressed to you. You are not waiting for God to move. You are waiting to awaken. The moment you realize this, the illusion of delay dissolves. What you call the future is not something distant. It is a dimension that already exists, quietly vibrating in the unseen, waiting to be accepted. The truth is this: everything you desire already exists now, and it has already been assigned to you. The only requirement is that you open the envelope of your consciousness and read what has been inscribed there from the beginning. The world has taught you to seek from the outside in. It has trained you to chase, to hope, to beg, to wait. But God never placed your destiny outside of you. He planted it within. The kingdom is within, not somewhere far off in the sky, but right here, right now, in the sanctuary of your imagination. You are the carrier of the divine message. Your awareness is the envelope, and your imagination is the script. When God wants to get something to you, He doesn't need to ship it across the earth. He awakens it in your spirit. To understand this is to unlock a secret most never grasped. Desire is not something you created. It is something you received. That longing within you for freedom, for healing, for purpose, for restoration, it is not fantasy. It is not wishful thinking. It is the signature of God whispering from beyond the veil, "This is yours." The moment you recognize your desires as divine instruction, you stop questioning whether it will happen. You begin preparing to receive it. The problem is not that you lack the blessing. The problem is that you keep checking the mailbox of reality, ignoring the fact that the true address is internal. You don't get miracles by checking your bank account, by watching the news, by tracking physical progress. You receive miracles when you live as though they are already yours. That's how you open the envelope. That's how you say, "I receive it." You don't wait until you feel it. You believe it, and then you begin to feel the proof of it. The envelope was never lost. The message was never undelivered. But if you think you are separate from the divine plan, you will overlook the very thing that has your name on it. It will sit right in front of you: opportunities, ideas, people, signs. But your blindness will call it coincidence. You'll say, "It's too good to be true," while God is saying, "It's too true to be ignored." You must stop asking for what you already have and start living like it's already done. If the good news is already written, why are you still begging for it? If the answer is already dispatched, why are you still doubting it? When you walk in awareness, you walk in agreement. And when you agree with God, the world has no choice but to rearrange itself around your belief. You don't need to know how the good news will show up. You don't need to force the outcome. That is not your job. Your only task is to be in the state of the answered prayer, the state of being it, not seeking it. When you feel lack, don't fight it, shift it. Move into the identity of the one who already received the call, the one who already opened the letter, and read, "Congratulations, it is yours." The mind may say, but I don't see it. And the heart must answer, that's because you're still looking with the wrong eyes. You are not to walk by sight. You are to walk by inner knowing. The outer world is just a mirror. Don't try to change the reflection. Change the face that stands before it. Change the mood you carry. Change the inner conversation you replay. For God speaks in the whispers of your feelings, not in the noise of your fears. Every great breakthrough begins with an invisible act of acceptance. You do not need to see the check to feel wealthy. You do not need to see the partner to feel chosen. You do not need to hear the news to feel the peace. You choose the feeling first, and the facts follow. Your inner world is not a place of make-believe. It is the original canvas of creation. Everything that manifests in your outer life was first imagined in silence. This is the divine system. This is the invisible mailroom of heaven. What you dare to feel is true within yourself becomes the thing your life expresses, not because you earned it, but because you accepted it. The blessings are not sent to the strongest or the most deserving. They are sent to the most aligned. Alignment is not performance, it is agreement. When you agree with God's version of your life, the good news manifests with your name clearly written on it. Today, June 1st, is not a random date. It is a marker in the unseen, a checkpoint in your journey where you are being told, you're ready now, open the envelope. The message was always meant for this moment. Every delay you experienced was not denial, it was preparation. God was not punishing you, He was preserving you. He was making sure you would be strong enough to handle the weight of the glory, humble enough not to misuse the blessing, and awake enough to finally see it when it comes. And now you are ready. No longer will you check outside for what's been hidden inside. No longer will you wait for someone else to deliver what only your belief can unlock. You are the mailbox. You are the door. You are the envelope, and today the message is clear. My child, good news is coming, and it has your name written on it. The feeling of fulfillment is the door to the promise. The greatest secret ever given to mankind is this: you do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. If you want to experience the promise, you must first feel the fulfillment. The door to your answered prayer does not open with effort or strain. It opens with feeling, and not just any feeling, but the sacred sense that what you long for has already arrived. That is the door, that is the key, that is the way. Many cry out for breakthrough, for healing, for restoration, for opportunity, yet few understand that longing alone is not enough, wishing is not receiving. Wanting is not having. Until your desire becomes a living presence within you, you remain separate from the thing you seek. You stand outside the door, knocking with doubt, rather than stepping inside with confidence. But God never intended for you to knock forever. He meant for you to enter in, to feel the thing as done and rest in the reality of it. The moment you feel it, you become it. The moment you dwell in the state of answered prayer, the external world begins to shift. Life mirrors back the dominant vibration of your being, not the words of your lips. You may say, I am blessed, but if your inner mood is one of lack or frustration, that is the real message you're sending. You are not punished by your circumstances, you are instructed by them. They show you what you're truly embodying. So what does it mean to feel fulfilled? It is not simply about excitement or fleeting emotions. It is about settling into a state of being where your desire is no longer something to chase, but something you are already living. It is becoming the version of yourself who already has the good news. You must rise into that self, not try to bring your future down to your present, but bring your present up to the vibration of your future. This is why imagination is so sacred. Your imagination is the bridge. Through it, you can access any state, any outcome, any reality, and when you enter that reality with feeling, sincere, sustained, surrendered feeling, you activate the divine law that brings it into the visible. The outer world must conform to the inner atmosphere. Your job is not to fight the facts, but to change the feeling. If you change the feeling, the facts will rearrange. Feel it now, not tomorrow, not after the news comes. Not when the money appears or the phone rings. Feel it now. Why? Because the only time that truly exists is now. The past and future are simply mental constructs, but now is eternity's stage. If you can feel the thing now, you have entered into the realm where all things are possible. That is where the miracle meets you. That is where the message is opened. God is not looking for more effort. He is looking for more agreement. You agree with God not by words alone, but by the posture of your heart. When your feeling aligns with the truth of the promise, you are no longer resisting the flow. You become the flow. The blessing begins to move through you naturally because you have made yourself a vessel for it. You are not begging anymore. You are walking in it. But let us be honest. It is not always easy to feel fulfilled when the evidence seems to contradict it. It is not easy to act blessed when the bills are high. It is not easy to feel whole when your heart is still healing. And yet, this is the exact moment where your power is discovered. The ability to feel beyond the facts, to rise above the reports, to choose joy in the midst of uncertainty. This is the birth of true faith. Faith is not denial, it is defiance. It is your bold declaration that truth is not defined by sight, but by spirit. You are not ignoring the problem. You are overpowering it with vision, and vision always wins because it sees what the eyes cannot. When you feel as if the prayer is already answered, you are standing in the atmosphere of miracles. God works through those who feel the truth in advance of its appearance. So, if today you are being told, open this now. Good news is coming with your name written on it. Understand this, you must first feel what it means to receive it. Picture yourself holding the answer. See yourself smiling with relief, rejoicing in victory, walking in freedom, and do not just see it, feel it. Let that inner reality take hold of your mood, your posture, your thoughts. Walk differently, talk differently, think differently, because you are no longer the person who is waiting. You are the one who already knows. That feeling will carry you through every shadow. That feeling will call forth the divine order to bring the blessing from spirit to matter. The outer world is just a slow echo, but the moment you change your inner state, the echo has no choice but to eventually reflect your truth. You don't chase the echo, you change the voice, and the voice is your inner conviction, your deep inner yes to the goodness of God. Some will say, I'll believe it when I see it. But those who walk in power say, I will see it because I believe it. This is how the promise becomes the present. This is how tomorrow becomes today. You pull the future into the now, not with striving, but with feeling. You don't manifest by desperation. You manifest by embodiment. You become the good news before it ever arrives. So stand up within yourself. Take on the identity of the one who has already opened the envelope. Feel what it feels like to be chosen, to be favored, to be restored. Let the feeling become your new address. When the messenger comes, he will not have to search for you. He will find you living in the exact emotional state where the blessing belongs. You are not trying to make it happen. You are aligning with the fact that it already has. You are not summoning something distant. You are welcoming something familiar. This feeling is the door, and you are the one holding the key. Open it, dwell in it, live in it, and the good news that bears your name will not delay. Imagination is the spiritual post office of God. If you could see the unseen, you would never doubt again. The entire universe is moved by unseen hands, quiet, invisible forces responding to the deep convictions of your inner world. The world may tell you to trust facts, but God speaks through imagination, and he delivers through faith. He whispers not in the noise of the outer world, but in the stillness of the heart. And the moment you dare to imagine the life you are praying for, you have already begun the process of receiving it. Imagination is not daydreaming. It is not fantasy. It is not idle thinking. It is the sacred place where heaven meets earth, where spirit becomes form, where the word becomes flesh. Everything you see now, every object, every structure, every invention, every system, was once nothing more than a vision. It existed first in the invisible, birthed in someone's mind before it ever took shape in matter. This is the great secret. Nothing comes from outside you. All things flow through you. You are the creative power of God individualized, not by title but by function. What you imagine with feeling, with clarity, with repetition, you are assigning angels to carry out. Your inner world is a living workshop of creation. Your thoughts are blueprints, your feelings are instructions, and your belief is the divine stamp that tells heaven, deliver this. Think of your imagination as the spiritual post office of God. When you write a letter and send it in the physical world, you expect it to arrive. You don't worry about how it travels, how many hands it passes through, how long the route takes. You know that once it's sent, it's on the way. Why? Because you trust the system. In the same way, when you imagine something vividly and consistently, you are mailing a message to the unseen. You are telling the universe, this is who I am, this is what I believe, this is what I receive. And if you remain faithful, not in begging, not in worrying, but in assuming, then the reply must come. The law cannot fail. What you send out with conviction must return to you clothed in reality. But here lies the problem. Most people never send the letter. Or worse, they send it and then immediately cancel the request with doubt. They imagine healing, then speak sickness. They picture abundance, then walk in fear. They dream of love, but rehearse rejection. And so the system becomes confused, not because God is unclear, but because the address keeps changing. God cannot deliver to indecision. He delivers to clarity. Clarity begins in imagination. You must first see yourself as already having it. Do not ask how it will happen. That is not your concern. You are not the manufacturer. You are the sender. You simply send the image. God, through ways beyond your understanding, brings it to pass. But the image must be fixed. The feeling must be real. You must dwell in the vision long enough for the inner state to take root in your being. Imagination is the proof that you are made in the image of the Creator. It is not a side gift. It is the core of who you are. It is the bridge between the eternal and the temporary. When you enter your imagination and dwell there, you are not escaping reality. You are commanding it. You are not running from the facts. You are rearranging them. The facts of your life are not final. They are flexible, and the tool you use to shape them is imagination. Understand this deeply. The world responds not to what you want, but to what you assume is already true. Want is weak. Want says, I don't have, but assumption says, it's mine. And when you imagine with assumption, the universe responds as if it were already so. Life rearranges around the truth you live in internally. This is why some people attract blessings seemingly without effort. They live in the atmosphere of already having. Their imagination is so alive that life cannot help but reflect it. You've heard the phrase, if you build it, they will come. That's not just a quote, it's a spiritual law. Build it in your imagination, construct the inner world in precise detail, walk through it in your mind, feel the air, hear the sounds, touch the experience, become familiar with the life you've prayed for. Because once your imagination accepts it, your reality must follow. You do not need to strive, you do not need to convince, you simply need to assume the posture of the fulfilled. Sit down in the vision. Take ownership. Don't visit it once and call it done. Dwell there, return there often. Let it be your secret dwelling place. The outer world may call you foolish. Let them. They will soon witness the fruit of the invisible seeds you've sown. The proof will be undeniable. Now, here is the divine instruction for you today. June 1st is the signal to mail the message, not just once, not just casually, but with full authority. Whatever you've been carrying as a quiet desire in your heart, now is the time to give it form. Write it in your mind, see it, feel it, thank God for it, and then release it. You are not hoping, you are receiving. The message has already been stamped with your name. Remember, God's post office does not lose mail. It does not forget names. It does not misplace blessings. The moment you align your inner vision with the promise, the reply is already set in motion. You may not see the journey it takes, but you will receive the knock. And when the blessing arrives, it will be exactly as you imagined, or greater. So today, begin with clarity, begin with boldness, sit still, close your eyes, enter the life you know is meant for you, and as you do, say in your heart, this is mine, I accept it, I receive it now. You have sent the message, heaven has received it, the good news is on the way, and it bears your name. The invisible shift always precedes the visible break. Through the mistake many make is believing that nothing is happening simply because nothing has shown up yet. But in the divine order of things, the invisible always comes before the visible. Just as a seed is planted in darkness before it breaks through the soil, so too is every answered prayer conceived in the unseen before it manifests in the seen. You may feel like you've been waiting, like nothing is moving, but heaven has been working in silence always. There is a shift that happens long before your eyes can detect it. It begins the moment your internal posture changes. When your assumption of lack becomes an assumption of supply, when your belief in delay becomes a belief in immediacy, you have already stepped into the blessing, even if the outer world hasn't caught up yet. The invisible shift is the real beginning. The visible breakthrough is just confirmation. Most people are watching the world for signs. They scan the horizon, look to people, wait for a phone call, a message, a yes from someone outside themselves. But the truth is, no external sign will ever appear until the internal change has occurred. The world is not leading you, it is following you. You are the projector, not the screen. You are the source, not the shadow. What you see is only the echo of what you've assumed. This is why you must never let the current facts fool you. Facts are temporary, circumstances are unstable, but truth is eternal and truth is spiritual. And the truth is, once you have accepted the blessing in your inner world, it is already yours in substance. You may not yet hold it in your hand, but it has already been delivered to your account in heaven. The final step is just manifestation, and that step belongs to God. Consider how a pregnancy works. A woman doesn't see the baby the moment she conceives, but the moment conception occurs, a new life begins. It will take months before she sees it, touches it, names it, but the shift has already happened inside her. There is no need to doubt or panic just because the stomach hasn't yet grown. She knows something is forming. And she prepares for the arrival, not because she sees, but because she believes. You must treat your blessing the same way. Your shift may be invisible for now, but it is no less real. Something is growing. Something has changed. The moment your thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions aligned with the promise of God, the process began, heaven responded, the order was stamped. The movement started in the realm you cannot see. So while your senses scream delay, your spirit must whisper truth. It's already done. But here is where most falter. They abort the miracle with impatience. They get discouraged because the outer world hasn't changed yet. And so they go back to the old state, the state of worry, lack, and waiting. And by doing so, they reverse the shift. They pull up the seed before it breaks the soil. They speak against their own blessing with fear, forgetting that faith must be sustained beyond what the eyes can see. You must trust the invisible. You must believe in the realm where God works, the realm beyond the senses, the realm where miracles begin as vibrations, feelings, intentions, and convictions. If you can hold the inner change long enough, the outer must conform. It's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when, and that when comes faster when your inner world remains stable, thankful, and confident. You must live like it's already done, not just in public, but in your private conversations with yourself. When you wake up, when you're alone, when you're tempted to doubt, remind yourself, the shift has already happened. The evidence is just on the way. Because here's the truth, your breakthrough is never late. It arrives precisely when your vibration is an exact match for what you asked for, and not a moment before. The good news with your name on it is not waiting for someone else to give it to you. It's waiting for you to become the version of yourself who is ready to carry it. You are not waiting for the blessing is waiting for you to recognize it's yours. As long as you see yourself as separate from it, you delay it, but the moment you accept that you've already been chosen, already been approved, already been supplied, it comes swiftly. So how do you stay anchored in the invisible shift? You do it by living from the end. You go to the place in your mind where the prayer is answered. You feel the joy, the relief, the gratitude. You rehearse it. You savor it. You return to it often, and as you do, something in you settles, the anxiety lifts, the pressure fades. Why? Because you are no longer searching for it. You are walking in it, and when you walk in it long enough, the world bows to your inner conviction. The world must respond to the dominant feeling you carry, not once, not twice, but habitually. You cannot fake this energy. You must become it, and when you become it, the door opens without effort. Doors that were locked swing wide. People you haven't met become answers to prayers you forgot you asked. Favor finds you, and not because you chased it, but because you aligned with it. That is the power of the invisible shift. It rewrites your story before the pen ever hits paper. It clears the path before you even take a step. It makes the way straight where there was once only wilderness, and it does all of this without fanfare, without signs, without confirmation, until the day the delivery shows up, wrapped in evidence that says, "This was for you all along." God works in silence, but he delivers in glory, and what you've imagined, what you've held in faith, what you've dared to believe even in the absence of proof, he will make visible, but only if you don't return to the old self. Don't go back to doubting. Don't go back to begging. Stay in the new state. The invisible shift has occurred. You don't have to make it happen. You only have to not undo it. This is the moment to trust. Not because of what you see, but because of what you know. God's timeline is perfect. His delivery is certain, and when it comes, you'll realize it was never far away. It was just waiting for your soul to say, yes. So lift your head. Straighten your shoulders, smile at the silence, and say with certainty, the shift has already happened. The good news is mine. I'm just waiting for the world to catch up. The word you speak internally is the world you step into. Every thought is a seed. Every word is a decree. The unseen power behind your life is not in your hands, not in your effort, not in your circumstances. It is in your inner speech, not the words you speak to others, but the words you whisper to yourself when no one is listening. These words are not just noise, they are creation. They are forming the substance of your future even now. You cannot live above the voice you allow to speak within. The inner dialogue you maintain becomes the pattern your life obeys. The spiritual law is simple but firm, as within, so without. What you affirm in the silence of your own mind will echo across the landscape of your reality. The words you speak in the privacy of your soul become the world you will eventually walk into. You have been endowed with the authority of God's creative force, and that authority is activated by language. The universe responds to speech, not merely the audible, but the spiritual vibration of belief-filled utterance. When you say to yourself, "It is done," and mean it, heaven aligns. When you declare, "I am healed," while still feeling pain, that word begins to work its way through every layer of your being until the body complies. Everything begins with the word. If you desire change, you must begin by becoming a master of your inner language. Watch it, guard it, discipline it. Do not let old phrases of failure, doubt, rejection, or defeat pass unchecked through the chambers of your imagination. For these words do not vanish. They plant themselves, they grow, and they eventually present themselves as circumstance. The words, "I can't," "It never works," "I'm not good enough." It's too late. These are invisible prisons keeping people bound long after the key has been placed in their hands. But here is the good news. You can speak yourself free. You can declare yourself whole. You can rise above every former pattern by choosing a new internal script. Your world changes the moment your words change, not when someone else gives you permission, not when a door opens, but when you speak as one who knows the door is already open. What you say with conviction begins to reshape what you see with clarity. Imagine yourself as the architect of your life, and your speech as the blueprint. You would not randomly scrawl lines across the page. You would not put confusion where you desire peace, or limitation where you seek freedom. No, you would be intentional, precise, clear. You would design in the secret place what you intend to see in the visible world. Why then should you be careless with your inner conversation? The world may call it positive thinking, but this is far deeper. It is spiritual alignment. When you speak what God has already said about you, when your words mirror divine truth, you do not merely encourage yourself. You activate the power that governs all things. You align with the source of life itself. And once alignment occurs, resistance dissolves, paths open, mountains move, not because of force, but because of faith. Let's be clear, it is not enough to say it once. This is not about a single affirmation followed by days of doubt. It must become your dwelling place. The inner word must be repeated until it is no longer a statement. It is your state. You are not trying to convince yourself. You are returning to what has always been true. You are blessed. You are chosen. You are more than a conqueror. What's yours is already on the way. You do not have to wait for the world to agree with you. Speak the truth and let the world adjust. Speak the healing and let your body align. Speak the abundance and let your finances follow. This is how faith works. It speaks of what is not as though it were. It dares to call the invisible real, and in time the invisible becomes visible. The enemy of your destiny is not always an outside force. Often it is the inner echo of yesterday's wounds, yesterday's beliefs, yesterday's disappointments, replaying themselves in your mind like broken records. But you are not bound to replay what God has redeemed. You can override every past word with a new decree. I am new. I am rising. This is my time. I have what I need. It's already mine. Speak these not as empty phrases, but as living truth. Let them rise not from the surface of the tongue, but from the depths of conviction, and watch as the vibration of these words begins to rearrange the landscape of your life. The change may be subtle at first, a shift in peace, a flicker of clarity, a renewed strength. But soon the world will have no choice but to reflect what you've been proclaiming in secret. God works through the word. He created the world by speaking it. Let there be light, and there was light. You are made in that image. You carry that creative imprint. What are you saying about your life? What are you declaring over your future? If your life feels stuck, the answer is not outside. The answer is always in the inner conversation. And the moment you shift it, the atmosphere around you must respond. June 1st is not just a date. It is an announcement in the Spirit. God is saying, open this now. Why? Because the word you speak today has supernatural acceleration on it. The seed you plant now with faith-filled speech will grow faster than the ones you neglected in fear. The harvest is attached to the boldness of your declaration, and the good news has already been written with your name on it. But it is released by your agreement, so speak up. Not to convince others, but to convince yourself, not to beg, but to believe, not to hope, but to know. Let your inner speech sound like the end of the story, not the middle of the storm. Talk to yourself as the person who has already arrived, who has already received, who has already stepped into the promise, and then just watch. Watch the outer world bend to the inner word. This is not magic. It is divine order. You don't need to manipulate circumstances. You only need to master your confession. Keep speaking, keep declaring, keep aligning your words with what God has said. The breakthrough will come, not from trying harder, but from talking wiser. Because when the inner voice shifts, the whole world must follow. Speak your way into peace. Speak your way into purpose. Speak your way into the promise. Your name is on it. Your voice unlocks it. And today the word becomes flesh through you. The only question is, will you open it? Let's begin. Written on it.